Welcome to the Richard Lloyd USA YouTube channel. I'm Richard Lloyd. Today I'm going to be making a video on how to install a free operating system from Ubuntu. It's a Linux Debian type operating system, and it's a very popular flavor of Linux and readily available for download for free from the Ubuntu website. And you can see a picture of it here, the desktop on my computer here, but this is what we're going to be installing. Reason for this is to show you how to install a Linux operating system on your computer. It's going to be what they call a bare metal install. In other words, we're going to take it from a blank hard drive. This is the 3 terabyte drive I'm going to be using, but you can use any size drive you want. I think down to 8 gigabytes. I put it on a 16 gigabyte SD card, and it worked fine. I tried it on a 4 and it said it wasn't big enough, so I figured the minimum is going to be 8 gigabytes, but I can't verify that for sure. But I know for sure on a 16 gigabyte USB thumb drive it will fit. You could use a laptop drive internally on a PC or in a laptop as well. This installation will go into either one, but again, we're doing bare metal. Well, that means that we're doing it from an empty hard drive, no data on the drive at all. So it's formatted clean and ready to go. This one's going to be 3 terabytes, as I said. So why would you want to use this? Well, first of all, like I said, it's free. It's got long-term support, which means that updates and fixes for it will be readily available and sent to the actual OS or operating system, just like Windows. It will update by itself, and that means you'll get bug fixes, software updates, and operating system repairs as well for up to 5 years from the installation date. So that's pretty good. And Ubuntu upgrades the LTS version, the long-term support version, every 2 years. So as long as you keep upgrading your operating system from one to the next, you should have unlimited long-term support on the operating system. By the way, this is the same desktop that Google uses on every single one of its corporate desktops. Google uses only Ubuntu in its internal corporate environment for desktops. So this is it. They call it Ubuntu, which is a slightly modified version of what you're seeing here on the screen, but it's the same version exactly. They actually pay Ubuntu for the upper level of support on the desktop because Google doesn't have time to maintain an operating system. By the way, Google uses all Linux operating systems on its servers as well. So when you're Google searching, you're searching a Google computer. A Linux-based operating system, computer system, or server farm, or whatever it is that you're searching on. Google runs it on Linux. Many other companies like Lyft and Uber do the same thing. They use only Linux. So, it's pretty widely accepted software and widely used. There's 10,000 users in Google alone using this desktop. And in fact, if you want to use Windows inside their environment, you have to get special permission to do so because they're very security conscious, and Linux is it's known to be a more secure operating system than Windows, and actually one of the most secure out of all of them. Also, the biggest computer in the world, the most powerful computer in the world, is running Linux as well. I believe it's running Ubuntu too. Okay. Another thing about this operating system is that it supports a wide variety of different hardwares. This one that I'm showing you is based for 64-bit hardware. So if you have a 64-bit processor motherboard, this is the flavor for you. And it's x86, meaning that it is a Intel-based, AMD also based CPU that you need for this. So a standard PC, 64-bit, will load this operating system most times. I happen to buy an HP laptop, and it's called an HP Envy, and it's not an old, well, I guess at this point it's one of the older ones, but I can't get this operating system on it at all. Windows works on it just fine. So, hardware support is very, very broad, but I can't guarantee that it will go on everything. The nice thing is We're going to be putting it on a 32 gig thumb drive. And you can go down as low as a 4 gig thumb drive on installation media, but I'm going to be using a 32 gig USB 3 thumb drive because it's faster. And the nice thing is, when you create the installation USB drive, as I'm going to show you, you can boot it off of this, and then you can try it out and see if you like it, see if it's something that you want to play with without installing it on your computer. The only thing is it's not persistent, so any changes you make to the USB thumb drive while you're trying it out, when you reboot, they're gone, and you come back to the original default installation. So we're going to install the operating system, well, the install program on the thumb drive, and then we're going to install it on the hard drive. And hopefully this is something that you enjoy and have a use for. Again, it's free. It's not like Microsoft where you have to pay for a license to use it. It's free to anybody to use anywhere. And it's very robust and very, very stable. Now, the other thing I could say about this is if you're going to work at Uber or at Lyft or Google or many other corporations, a lot of them are using Linux, so maybe you want to get your feet wet on this stuff and learn how to use the Linux flavor. Ubuntu is very, very popular. There's over 60 million installations of this desktop all over the world. So as far as my research goes, it's probably more, but regardless, it's good to have the skills not in just Windows, but Windows and Linux, because Linux lends to a lot of operating systems outside of Linux itself as well. It's also, if you know how to do the command line in Linux, you got a pretty good handle on how to do it in Unix as well. So again, and a lot of programming is done in Linux as well. So let's get this show on the road. I'm going to install this thumb drive in my machine. Minimize this well, first thing we got to do is format that drive. Mine's already formatted, but I'll show you how to format it. You can go to your file browser down at the bottom here, if you wish as well, and right click the drive. In my case, make sure you're formatting the right drive, because you format the wrong drive and it's all the data on it's gone. You can recover it, but it's no fun. So don't do that. In my case, it's drive E. Right click it and choose format, and then just click and start format, and it'll go, right? I'm not doing that right now because I've already done it, but that's all it takes. And my favorite, other than doing that, and I usually use this instead, is the SD card formatter from sdcard.org, right? So if you go to, let's open up a browser here, and let's go to SD card, just type in SD card formatter and Google search it, and you'll find it. There it is, SD card formatter. Click on that. An SD card formatter, SD association. You go there, you download it, and you install it. It works great. And the nice thing about the SD card formatter is it formats only external drives, USB thumb drives, and SD cards. So, excellent tool, and it's a lot safer because it won't format your internal hard drives, which may be a real problem. And as you can see here, it wants to format my E drive and doesn't show anything else. So that's basically it. At this point, what we got to do is hit format here, and it'll do it, but we don't need to do it here. Now, the next thing we're going to need to do is go get a, oh, this is the wrong browser. Let's try this again. Is go get the software to make this happen. In this case, it's we need a formatter for the, an image software for the thumb drive. So let's go get that. It's called Rufus. So just do a search on Google for Rufus. Click on the first thing you see, which is Rufus IE. Now, scroll down and you'll see a download area, and what you want to do is click on the Rufus 3.12. This just been updated recently, probably in the last 2 days. So here we're going to choose the 3.12, save the file, save it to where you want. I'm going to save mine to the desktop. I have an Ubuntu 20, and yes, this is Ubuntu 20.04.1, and I have it on a folder on my desktop. I'm going to save it there. And you could see there that I had the Rufus 3.11 in that same directory. Now, next thing we're going to need is the ISO image to get this. So what you do is you go to open up another tab and just type Ubuntu into the search, Google search, and you'll get all the ubuntu.com and the download links. So we want to download Ubuntu Desktop, so we're going to click on that. And it shows you here, download Ubuntu Desktop, Ubuntu 20.04.1 LTS, download that. Now I'm not going to download it because it's a fairly large program to download. Once you click that, it'll pop up on your screen. And if guys, if you want to, you could contribute to this project by sending them a few bucks on this page. That would probably be a nice thing to do. So here we're going to click on save it. Okay, so we can hit OK to save the file, and I'm going to save it on my desktop under Ubuntu 20.04.1 folder, and you can see that I already have it. And the reason I'm not downloading it here is, or any of these programs, is because it takes time, right? And this is 2.7 gigs, so we'd be here for a while. And just download to where you want it to go and then click save. I'm not going to do that because I already have it. So you'd hit save, and in my case it's going to say it's already there. Do you want to replace it? And I'm going to say no, right? So you save it, and we'll go from there. So now we've got the two pieces of software we need. We have the USB creation tool, USB thumb drive creation tool, and the ISO file. So we're going to open up the folder where we put this stuff, and we're going to open up Rufus 3.12. You can see the old one here. So 3.12, double click it, click yes to this. And once it's open, it's going to give you, a bunch of options, but really the only one you need to choose here is select. You have to select the ISO. So we click on that. We'll go to the desktop again, go to Ubuntu, and you can see there's my ISO for 20.04.1. So here we're going to open it, and you can see everything populates automatically. Again, you can play with this program if you wish and make it persistent. What persistence means is that it gives you a place to save files and so on. Not bothering with that here. We're just going for the installation of this operating system, not to play with that. Up to you if you want to play with that. So everything else stays with the defaults. We're just going to hit start here. Now it gives you this image to choose two different modes. And I've tried both modes, and DD image mode gives me errors on the installation process, and the ISO image mode does not. So you can play with that if you wish, but I'm going with the ISO. I recommend that you do, and the program recommends that you do. Here we're going to hit OK, and then we're going to hit, it's going to tell you, hey, we're formatting this drive. Make sure you're formatting the right drive. Here it's E, so we know that's right, and hit OK. There we go. And this is just going to go forward and format the thumb drive and put the information on it that needs to go on it. And when the green bar gets to the end, it will be done. And it's not a chatty program. It just gets to the end, and then the start button is on grade. That's how you know it's done. It'll say 100%. Okay. So I'll let this run through. Once it gets to the end, just shut everything down. Leave the thumb drive in the port that you're running it on, and then reboot the computer with the thumb drive in it. Now, I'm going to be doing this, like I said, bare metal, so I'm going to disconnect all the internal drives on this PC and then reboot it with the thumb drive and my 3 terabyte drive connected only. And again, this is blank, okay? So that's where we're going to go from when this is done. So I'm going to let this finish off, and then I'm going to catch it on the boot screen and show you how to manage the boot process to get this to work. So here we are on my boot screen. As you can see, I have a Dell Studio XPS, but I paused it here so you can see the options that you have. And if you want to know how to pause it, just hit the pause key on the keyboard, and that will pause the screen. At least it does on my machine. And that'll show you the options you have on boot. And what you want on this boot screen is the boot options. Now, a lot of computers may just boot automatically off the USB thumb drive, if you have a bare metal a hard drive with nothing on it. So try that, see if it boots to the thumb drive automatically. Mine does not. I could probably set the BIOS to do so, but there's really no point, as it's normally going to be booting on a hard drive anyway. So here you just what I'm going to choose is F12. Your options may be different from your you might have a different motherboard, different configuration for BIOS options. It could be escape, it could be F6, it could be whatever. So just pause it on this screen by hitting the pause key and find out what that is. I'm going to choose F12 as the option, and there you see it highlighted. And now we're going to choose the thumb drive, in my case the PNY 3 drive there, and it's the 32 gig drive we just built. So hit enter on that, and here this screen, if you hit any key on your keyboard, I believe will give you the options for language, but I just let this time out and go on and load normally. Next thing you get is the testing of the drive to see if the software is good or not. Now, if this fails, if you get errors on this screen, then maybe you have a bad USB thumb drive. I would say go back to Windows, reformat it fully, try it again with the iOS recommended setting on Rufus, and see if it cleaning it up and reformatting it and remaking it fixes it for you. If it doesn't, then try the DD option on Rufus for the image creation. Other than that, I would say get another USB thumb drive and try it again using the iOS, ISO, version or radio button on Rufus. That's the one that works for me every time. So up to you. So this is going to continue to check the disk. When it's done, it's going to say no errors. I know that. I'll continue on after this is done. Actually, it's almost there, but regardless, I also found out another company that uses Ubuntu, and Tesla uses Ubuntu. Now, whether it's run in the car or not, that's another question altogether, but they do use it. So, yeah. So what do we have? We've got Tesla, Google, Uber, Lyft, and many other companies using the same operating system as a desktop. So, okay, so it's almost done here. And when it's done, it'll give me that, no errors found, checked, finish. So perfect. So it moves on from here to the option to try it out or install it. Now, if you decide that you want to just play with it for a while, just choose the try out version over here on try Ubuntu. Just click on that, but we're installing it, so we're going to click on install. There we go, and then we're going to go with English. You can change the keyboard layout here as well. So continue. I'm going to choose to connect to my Wi-Fi here, but if you don't choose to connect to Wi-Fi, you'll get, well, let's continue and I'll show you what you get. You get the minimal install. You don't, everything is grayed out. Like these two buttons are grayed out. I don't know why it says install third-party software for graphics, but you could choose that. But in my case, when I do choose the third-party software for graphics and Wi-Fi hardware, I get an error in the installation of this program, so I don't do it. But I do the downloads while installing Ubuntu because it saves me a step of updating it. Actually, what I'm going to do in this case is leave it, go back here, leave it off the Wi-Fi and just let it do the normal installation without either one of those two options. And I will show you on the desktop, once it's booted up and installed, how to do, yeah, we're going to stay disconnected. I don't want to connect the Wi-Fi right now, so continue. So I'm going to show you when the desktop is installed, how to do the updates manually, and how to install the third-party software for graphics and Wi-Fi hardware and additional media formats. So, okay, so we'll continue here. Now, if you want, you can connect to Wi-Fi, and then you'll get the download updates while installing on Ubuntu. And you can try the third-party software here if you wish, without connecting to your Wi-Fi or your network. But I'm not going to, because I know it creates an error in the installation. You can try it, see if it works for you, but it didn't for me, and it doesn't matter because you can do it afterwards, and I will show you how to do that. So let's hit continue. And next it'll it's actually right now it's detecting the hard drive, and it will give you the option to format it or install it on the drive. So I'll wait here. Okay, so here you have erase disk and install Ubuntu. And if you want to change things and resize the partition yourself, you can, but again, I'm keeping this simple. The advanced features are as such here. We've got use LVM with new Ubuntu installation and encrypt the Ubuntu installation for security purposes. Now, if you're worried about physical security of your data or your hard drive, in other words, you're worried about somebody walking away with your drive and looking at your data, then yeah, I would say choose LVM and then encrypt the new Ubuntu installation for security. So what will that do? It'll encrypt your hard drive so that anybody that takes this hard drive out of your machine or even boots up your machine with this hard drive won't be able to see the data on it unless they have the key. So that's an additional level of security. I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to keep it on none. And experimental down here is erase the disk and use ZFS. ZFS is a file system that is very, very robust. You can Google that. It's probably the ultimate file system, but again, it's experimental. So if you want to play with that, you can. I'm just going to leave this option to none. So, and then we're going to continue on. So it's install now. Okay, so it's going to format the drive and do this to it. It's going to be ext4. Again, ext4, that is a Linux file system. So just go continue here. And change. I'm going to change it to my time zone, which is Central. You change it to whichever time zone you're on. Just hit continue. And here, just put in your username, whatever you want it to be. I'm just going to go with default because, again, I'm just showing you how to install this. Put in a password you will remember because you will need it to log in again. There we go. And now down here you get the option to log in automatically or require a password to log on. If you don't, if you don't care about security to your desktop, like you wish to just turn on your computer and then land on your desktop, then you can choose login automatically. I don't suggest that because then just anybody can turn on your computer and get to the desktop. Now, if that's what you want, then yeah, choose that option. But I'm going to choose the require my password to log in. Continue. So now it's copying files. You can see that here if you hit the drop down on the almost finished copying files notification there. And it says skip. I don't know why you'd want to, but I'm not skipping it. And again, it's Linux, so you can see what it's doing in the background all the way through. They're not, they don't hide anything from you. You can look at the logs as well, and it will tell you, what's going on in the background, what it's copying, what it's doing with software, and so on and so forth. It's not like Windows where, it's like secret swirl stuff that's hidden away in the background that only Microsoft developers and engineers can see. So with Linux, it's wide open, and you can look at any part of it, and that's what makes it so robust and so secure, is that you can actually fix the bugs yourself if you know how to do it. So here it's installing the system. You can go through the various menus to see what's going on or what's available here, right? So it tells you all the different features that come with it. It's pretty robust and pretty full-fledged operating system. Again, if you're looking for something free that runs Chrome and Firefox and other types of browsers, as well as various graphics and video editing software, DaVinci is the premium video editing software for Ubuntu, and it is available for free on a freemium basis. In other words, you don't get all the features, but you get a lot of features in that video software. And Also, you have an Office suite that I use. The one I use is LibreOffice, but there's others. You can use other options, but I like LibreOffice because it can be installed in Ubuntu and it can be installed in Windows, which means I can create a spreadsheet in Linux or Ubuntu and open it up in Windows using LibreOffice because I'm using the same software on both machines. So that's another neat option for Office and productivity suite. It also has a text editor or a Word type program and a drawing program as well. So that's all useful. I'll let this go through and let it finish up. And at the end, it will tell you click this button to restart. And at that point, you will wait for a second, and it will boot down to a what they call a command line window, and it will say, okay, remove your installation medium or your USB thumb drive, and hit enter. And at that point, the machine will reboot and then go into the Ubuntu login screen for the desktop. So I'll let that happen. You don't need to watch all this, and I'll pick it up at that point. All right, here we are at the Restart Now screen or a prompt. I wanted also to add here, I forgot to mention that the installation media will fit on a 4 gig thumb drive, USB 2, no problem. But the smallest I could get this installed and running as a desktop was on an 8 gig thumb drive, which I did on this thumb drive, no problem. So I installed this entire desktop on this little 8 gig thumb drive, and it worked just fine. A little slow because it's USB 2, but it worked. So you can go from from an 8 gig thumb drive all the way to a 3 terabyte drive and beyond, which is what I'm using right now, a 3 terabyte drive. So, your options on installation media can be anything from 8 gigabytes thumb drive all the way up. So here we're going to hit restart, and it will go back to a command line type of prompt here. You'll see it here in a second. And there we are. Please remove the installation medium and then press return. So take out the thumb drive, the 32 gig on my part, and then hit enter, and the machine will reboot, and I'll pick that up after it reboots. Okay, here we are on the boot screen. In my case, really nothing to do here. I paused this just to show you it. And again, your machine should automatically boot off the hard drive. If it doesn't, you need to go into your BIOS setup, which in this case would be F2 for me, and then set it up to boot off the primary drive. Again, if you don't know how to do that, probably the default settings in the BIOS, setting those will do it for you. But again, reference your manufacturer's website for your motherboard to see how that's done. I'm not going into it on this video, that's for sure. So here I'm going to just hit enter, and it'll boot off the hard drive. And you've got several different options here, as you can see. And if you don't choose anything, it'll boot off the Ubuntu automatically after a period of time. But again, you've got advanced options here, and you can test the memory as well. I'm not going into this. I'm just leaving this alone. You can, play with this if you wish, and again, experiment. You can't really break it. You can always reinstall it anytime you want. So, enter. Normally you wouldn't have to hit it, even enter. I think it's a 10-second delay there, and it will boot up by itself. It checks the hard drive to see if there's any errors, and there's none here because it says clean. And then we boot into the operating system, which will be the first thing you see will be the login screen. So we'll do that. And then we'll go from there. I'll show you, I'll show you how to handle the operating system. You should know how to install software, how to remove software, both in the graphical and the command line. I'm going to show you both ways. And I'll install Chrome as well, as it's not a standard installation. There's many different ways to install software in Linux. So I'll show you that. And also, anything else that comes up along the way, I'll show you how to do as well. So here's default, and the way to log in is just click on the on this, and then you get the option to log in as default. So put your password in that you entered when you first installed the software, and you're in. right? So at this point, what I'm going to do is connect to my Wi-Fi, show you how to do that, and then we'll do an update on the software. Now, here you can just go through these screens and set them up the way you want. I'm just going to click on next, next, next here. Okay, you know, choose what you wish in each one of these prompts. And there we go. And then it comes to the end, ready to go. It's the operating system's running. It'll show you how to, you know, install software like apps like these. It eventually will come up. Probably not coming up fast because I'm not connected to Wi-Fi. So up here you've got your start, your power on, power off, your settings, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, and lock the screen if you want to just lock it when you walk away. So again, no real need to show you that. I guess settings would be important, but first we're going to go to Wi-Fi, not connected here, and we're going to connect to Wi-Fi. So select network. In my case, I'm going to go with my 5G Wi-Fi because it's faster. And here you put in your password for your Wi-Fi. And once you do that, and if you want to see it, just click the I button over here. And I'm not, of course, going to do that because I don't need to show my password to the world. But if you want to make sure you got it right, click on that. Click connect. And then over here, you'll see it updating. And there, connected. You can see the icon there showing that we're connected. If you want to see what it's doing, go here and go to Wi-Fi settings. And notice how the screen populated with software once it came up. And here's some interesting apps for you to install as well. But first, let's go here to Wi-Fi settings. And you can see I'm connected. If you click on it over here on the gear for settings, it tells you the speed, right? 780 megabytes per second, really good signal strength. You know, everything you need to know about it. If you want to configure it, you can go here, here, so on. Here's settings, and the way to get to that, again, real easy, is right here. Go to settings, pulls this up, and then you have all your options as to what to do with this machine. Again, not going to go through too deep into this. You can, again, experiment. This is what the whole point here is. And like I said, don't worry about breaking it, because you can always, if you mess it up in any way, you can always reinstall it. Generally, very stable, and it doesn't get messed up anyway, but up to you. And like I said, always reinstall. Here's the apps. If you want to see how to install software, just click on Open Software Now, and that'll get you there. And I'm just going to click on Done here. Okay. And one of the really important features for Ubuntu is go over here to Activities. When you click on that, you can type this, you can search whatever you wish. So if you want to look at your software options, just click on here, Software. So you got options to update the software, software updaters, Ubuntu software, which is where you would find your software that you have installed or want to install. So let's open that up. Live patch that you saw there is also a way of updating the operating system on a regular basis. Again, experiment, play with it. I don't want to go too deep in here. I just wanted to show you how to install this beautiful operating system, 64 bits operating system on your computer. As you can see, it's running just fine. If you want to see, and of course it's updating the catalog right here. So while it's doing that, we're going to go here to the docking bar, and you can see all the different options here. You got LibreOffice for the writer, Rhythmbox for audio, and file browser, of course. This is really important, right? Shows you how to go through the files. So yeah, home is where everything is. Again, work it out that way. Actually, another neat thing. Okay, so software update is ready. So it's notifying you that. Click the X on that. Other locations, you've got, computer, Raspberry Pi. I'm running on the network. That's another video I'm going to do in the future. Windows network, if you have things to connect to, which I do, but it's not running that way. And again, if you want to connect to a server, you would do that down here. Again, I'm not getting into that on this video. Maybe in a future video, I'll show you how. to update, or sorry, how to connect to a network share on Ubuntu. So, okay, so and here in the software, you see here that it says updates. There's 4. Go here to updates, and you can just click on updates, update all, but I'm not going to. I'm going to show you how to do this on command line as well. So there's your software interface, right? It shows you what's installed and so on and so forth. So close that off. Back to, okay, updated software has been issued since Ubuntu 2.04 was released. Do you want to install it now? You can look at the details here. It's 462 megabytes, and it shows you everything that, you know, it's going to update. So it looks like it's going to update a bunch of, you know, various miscellaneous stuff. It's going to update Office, your Office apps. It's going to do a Linux update on the kernel, so on and so forth. Now, if you'd have done the software update while installing the operating system, this would not have come up. But again, not worrying about it. I'll show you how to do this in a minute. And I want to, you know, again, you could just click install now and have that happen. So you see how sweet and smooth it is. It knows, hey, there's updates, get the updates, right? So that's nice. Back to the activities again. Type in software again. Show you a few other things. Here you see additional drivers. Live patch is an updater as well. Again, you can play with that. I'm not going to go into that. You can experiment as you wish. Additional drivers is important in the sense that in this case I have a GeForce, NVIDIA GeForce GTX, I think, or GeForce, yeah, 780 Ti video card, and there are proprietary drivers for that card for Linux, which are not loaded automatically. Linux doesn't do that. They won't load proprietary stuff or, you know, closed software automatically. So you can see right now I'm using the display driver from Xorg Video, open source, right? So that's what Linux is going to load automatically. If you want to, you could, in my case, I would just click on, you know, this radio button to install the latest NVIDIA driver, and which, you know, should give me more options than the open source one, and you know, cool little features, and also probably make it faster. Again, wanted to show you that. Again, software and updates. Again, you can choose how you're going to do the updates: daily, download and install automatically, display weekly. And down here for long-term support versions, what this means is you can see there's the option on this is to leave it the way it is, and every 2 years it will just come up and tell you, or every time a new long-term support version shows up, it will tell you, hey, do you want to upgrade your operating system? You click OK, and it upgrades your operating system to the next level of LTS. Pretty cool. And if you want to update to the beta versions, I'm going to hit cancel here, you can choose for any version, for any new version. So every, I think 6 months, yes, every 6 months, a new version comes out that is beta. It has 9 months of support, so you can just keep stepping up to the next beta version, and you'll always get your updates all the way through as long as you keep updating the beta version. If you don't, after 9 months from the installation or release date, it no longer is supported, and no longer will you get updates on that. So best way to fix that is upgrade to the next version of the beta. So here, I just wanted to show you that stuff, and again, just settings for software. So hit close here. Yeah, I'm going to say no to this. I'm just going to close it. I will update. I'll show you how to update the software. Again, many options on how to do software updates. So I'll show you that. Another way of doing it is command line, which is my preference. It's why I've held off on doing those updates. I'm going to go here, just right click the screen anywhere, and this is a nice feature on this version of Ubuntu. You get open in terminal by right clicking on the screen. You open that and you get a terminal screen, and this is really, command line is where the power in this operating system really is. I mean, you can do anything on command line. It gives you 100% control over the operating system, and you know, it's beautiful. So here you see, to run a command as an administrator, user root, which is the administrator, root is administrator, use sudo or sudo command And if you want to see the details for that command, you can do man space sudo underscore root. Now, what sudo or sudo stands for, and I think sudo is probably the most apt way of saying it, is super user do, right? So you're going to do as the super user. So sudo is that, okay? So let's update the software first thing. So if you're going to update software, you need to be the super user. Now the sudo password, which it's going to ask you for, is your login password. So just type in this command. So sudo apt-get and then update, and this will do an update of this will update the database of available software by going out on the internet and finding the latest versions and updating the database in this machine. So we're going to do that, and of course it's going to ask me for the password. And here you see it going through its update. Now this will only work if you're connected to the internet, either through a LAN cable or through a Wi-Fi connection like me. So either way, if you want to hardwire to your Ethernet card, more than likely that will connect you to the network. So as long as you have a compatible network card. So that's it. And usually most are. So the update for so this is step one. Step two will be, again, sudo, and let's see, yes, apt-get upgrade. So now we've got the packages updated in the database. Now we're going to tell the computer, go get them and install them. So sudo apt-get space upgrade again, and you won't have to put the password in here this time because it remembers it from the last time. So here we're going to say yes, and you're going to get a whole bunch of stuff here. You're going to get, so far, the list at the bottom tells you, it'll use 8,487K more than what it currently has, and it will give you right here the update, 222 upgraded and 389 megabytes total. So here we're going to say yes. So this is going to take a bit of time. So it's going fairly fast here, but you can see it's updating all this software. And after this update, I'll show you one more thing. And again, I like using command line because it gives me absolute control over the entire process. I see it all happening. If there's an error or something, it'll show up on the screen right here, and you can dig into that. Beautiful thing about Ubuntu and Linux is that there's so much available to you in support just by Googling the problem on Google. That's usually how I find my solutions. I just go, okay, I've got this error. What does this mean? And I just put, whatever the error is into Google. It comes up and says, you'll find a billion pages showing you how, that's an exaggeration. You'll find many, many, many pages on how to fix it and basically go through it and find the best one for you. Okay, so this is going to take a bit of time. Next thing I'm going to show you is the browser while that's happening. And again, everything's handy over here. Thunderbird Mail, just so you know, is a mail program. Pretty simple to set up. Well, not simple. Pretty straightforward to set up if you know what you're doing with email. Again, I'm not going into that. So let's open up Firefox. And, people have their preferences on browsers. I like Firefox, but my favorite is Chrome. And Chrome is not installed by default on this operating system or this flavor of Ubuntu. So you can go and manually install it and have it happen, right? So right now the computer's kind of busy, and I'm waiting for Firefox to show up here. I'm going to hit that again. There we go. I'm probably going to show up twice here in a minute. But again, yeah, that's what I thought. We'll click it off. It's just the hard drive. This is not an SSD hard drive, so it's a little slower than that. If I'd installed it on an SSD drive, it would be much, much faster. That's an option for installing, by the way. So here you've got options to search any way you want. Type it in and go. Like to say there, Ubuntu. It'll go straight to the web page, and it says more secure and encrypted DNS lookups. So basically, Firefox is advertising. Okay, got it. And you know, it's here we are on the browsing on the internet. Now, if you want to find out how to install Chrome, just type in a search, install Chrome, Ubuntu 20.04. This is what we're using. It's actually 0. I could go one further, 0.1 there, and it'll give you the same stuff. But so you've got Linux Hint, you've got all these options on how to do it. So let's go here. And this shows you two ways to install it, graphical and non-graphical. I guess I'll go through both, but I'm only going to install, and notice this video file cannot be played. Remember at the beginning of the installation, I said, you know, the restricted extras should be installed. Well, here's why. Because those restricted extras will allow us to see this video, more than likely. So before I install Google Chrome and show you how to do that, I'll show you how to install the restricted extras after this software update finishes. And you can see it's going, you know, going quite far. It's doing quite a bit of installation and updates. So that should make you feel good too, because this thing is updated on a regular basis. I'm going to wait till this finishes. Then I'm going to do the installing of the restricted extras. And, you know, maybe if there's anything on this screen that finishes up and says, oh, he should do this, I'll show you how to do the extras. And we'll go from there. Basically, what I'm showing you here is how to handle the operating system. Most people want to know how to install software, how to remove software, and how to update the operating system. You know, it's kind of basic maintenance that people want to do with an operating system. So I'll show you how to do that, and then we'll continue on. I'll let this finish though first, and I'll pick it up from there. So the update is done here, and you can basically just stop scrolling, and you know, and you've got a command line again, a cursor. So here I'm going to show you how to do force a distribution upgrade if there's one available. So more or less the same kind of command, sudo space, then apt-get, and then we're going to type in this command, which is dist, dist, and upgrade. And if there's a distribution upgrade available and you do this, it will prompt you to upgrade the operating systems. Here, I'm just going to click it and see what happens. And again, it's asking me for the password, because after a bit of time, the password will time out and you need to re-enter it again to get sudo or sudo access. So here we go. And this time it's saying, hey, you know, amazingly enough, there is a upgrade. The following package will be upgraded. So we're just going to hit yes on this. Also note here that there are packages to be taken off that can be removed. And if you copy this command right here, sudo apt autoremove, they'll remove the packages that are redundant you no longer need. So I'm just going to copy that, and we'll do that after the upgrade is done. So here, you can see that it's what it's going to upgrade. It tells you everything. So we're going to say yes and enter, and it begins to do the what they call update on the kernel, and the kernel being the core portion of the operating system. It goes through this process, and the sudo remove command that I showed you there will remove the old kernels from the operating system, which will reduce the amount of space being used on the hard drive for something you're not using anymore anyway. So I'll let this go through, and after it's done, we'll remove the packages. I'll show you that command, and then we'll go and do the restricted extras. And the restricted extras also include the ability to play MP3 files, which most people would like to do in most operating systems. So we'll go with that after that, and then I'll show you how to install Chrome, and we'll install Chrome and maybe some other app like gparted or something, and we'll go from there. Okay, so it's done now. Next thing we're going to do, I'm just going to paste in here the auto remove command, sudo apt auto remove, hit enter, and of course it's going to say, okay, well, the following package is going to be removed because it's, again, redundant, but it's very small anyway. But let's just take it out. Say yes, and there it is, taken out. So again, if you want to check and see if you're updated again, just you can go through if you cursor up when you're at the command prompt, you can get your previous history of commands. You could just go through them again and go through the update, as it will go quickly. There we go. Here you could go to the next one, upgrade, see if there's anything available. It tells you nothing's available, nothing to remove, everything is done. And just for fun, let's go to dist-upgrade, nothing there either. So this computer is now completely upgraded or updated. So next thing we're going to do is go back here. I'm going to open up a new tab and say, just do a search. So we want to do the restricted updates, right, for Ubuntu. And just hit enter. And Ubuntu's extras restricted. Again, here it is right off the bat. So you see how easy it is to get your support here. Just click on the ubuntu.com official Ubuntu website for support. Perfect way to do it. And it says, you know, here's how you do the manual install. There actually is no graphical way of doing this other than on the installation from what I know. So we're using the regular stock Ubuntu. So just copy this command, copy it back to our command line here and paste it by right clicking it. And there's the installation command. I'll probably include those in the video description below, as well as links to all the hardware I've used in this video. Those are affiliate links, of course. And if you're buying hardware to do this, those links are paid links. I get a small commission every time you click through on those, but the hardware will cost you no more than going directly to Amazon or eBay to buy this stuff. So it's no cost to you at all to use those links. And by using them, clicking through and buying on those links, you're helping me out, you're helping my channel out, and you're helping me to come to you and do these videos on a regular basis. So I really appreciate it if you use those as well. So here, we're going to hit this command, just hit enter. And if you didn't have sudo access, it would ask you for it. And so a bunch of stuff going to be installed here, as you can see. Mostly media stuff, looks like, and cool stuff. So here we're just going to hit enter and say yes. And there it goes. Once it's done, okay, so here's part of the deal. End user license agreement for Microsoft software. So we're actually installing Microsoft software into Ubuntu right now. Isn't that cool? So part of the reason why this is not a standard part of a Linux installation is because it isn't open source. Microsoft doesn't do too much stuff that's open source. So again, here we're going to just use your tab key to highlight the OK, as you can see here. I don't believe you can use your mouse on that. No, can't. So you have to click the tab key to get to the OK, and then hit enter. And in order to install this package, you must accept the licensing agreements. So a true type core fonts. Again, you want to do that. So here we're going to say yes. And off we go, installing Microsoft software into Ubuntu. Very cool, right? Yeah, I also, in researching this, I found that somebody hacked a Tesla car and installed Ubuntu as the operating system on their Tesla. I thought that was really brave on their part, but they managed to do it. Google that if you want to see something cool done with Ubuntu. Personally, I think to take a $30,000+ car and hack the operating system on it, it's pretty brave, but pretty cool if you know what you're doing, and this guy did it. So personally, I wouldn't do it, but you know, there is a video on it out there somewhere. So it's doing this update. I'm going to close the browser off. We'll come back to it, and hopefully the extras. And again, you know, warning, close the tabs. you know, and while this is happening, I'm just waiting for it to finish before I go on to the next operation of installing and removing Chrome. I'll show you how to do that. Command line, of course. There is a graphical way of doing it, and that web page shows you how to do it. Let's open up LibreOffice here for a second. And you can see pretty quick. Here's the writing software. If you wanted to do a spreadsheet, just open up a spreadsheet. There it is. Again, you want to do a drawing. There it is. You want to do a presentation. There it is, right? So pretty cool, pretty fast, pretty robust. Again, you know, not going to be as good as I believe as Word or Office. You know, as far as robustness, Office seems to be the standard for this type of application, but it's pretty good. So, you know, see what you can do with it. And again, free, doesn't cost you a cent. So again, more than good enough for me in most cases, in every case actually. So I'm just going to close this off and all of these off. So let's keep going. There we go. And all done. You can see here no errors. You can go scroll through it and find out how it all went. And you can see that it's perfect. No problems at all. Now, if you wanted to at this point, you can do, again, the update again, just to be sure that you've got all that software updated. So I'm just going to go through it quickly. And we're cool, right? So now we've got those updates installed. Let's go back to Firefox. And let's make it full screen here. Let's go to Install Chrome. And there it is in my saved searches. And again, you know, we're going to go to this one. Many options on how to do it. And you can see now that I'm getting a graphic on the screen that I wasn't getting before, right? Because the extras give you that additional compatibility with everything. So you make sure you do the restricted extras, because it makes everything just so much more compatible and so much nicer. So here we go. You know, you can go with the defaults here on how to do this. Okay, so you can do it with, you know, here they're showing you directly how to do it with the command line. I prefer that, but I think I had a different article on this here. Linux Hint, yeah, here we go. And it had, and again, you can see now I'm getting a video option on this web page I wasn't getting before. This one here. So that's because of the restricted extras. So beautiful, works great. Okay, so let's scroll down here. Okay, so you can do it again through a graphical user interface. This walks you through it. We've done the updates already. So, you know, again, we're done here with all that. Now, let's do what it tells us to do with the command line and go through that. I think that's the best way to go. And, you know, install it. Again, I'm a command line kind of guy. There are other ways of doing this, but right now, that's the way we're going, right? So let's do it. We've done the update, we've done the upgrade, so we're good on that already, as you can see right here. Next, we're going to get wget, which is a way of getting software on your command line. So open up the terminal again, paste it in there, see if we have it. Okay, so we do have it, looks like. But again, we'll just go through this and see what it does. We're going to try and install it anyway. And again, I'll show you how to install and uninstall this software here in a second. We're installing it right now. And you know, you try and install it and it says wget is already the newest version. So we already have wget, which is a way of getting software off the internet. So next, step 3, we use wget here, this command, to install the current version of Chrome into our operating system. As you can see, I'm popping through the screens here. Here you can, and now if you want to use your keyboard to paste in here, most people use Control V, Control C to copy and paste. In the command line, you have to use Control Shift C and Control Shift V to get the same command. So here I'm going to hit Control Shift V. You can see that the wget command is in there now. I could have just right-clicked and pasted as well, right? But I just wanted to show you that option. Enter, and it's going to install Chrome in the command line. Now, after that, we go to the now install the package via dpkg. Again, keep following the steps. Step 4, and yeah, it's not cookie cutter simple or easy like Windows would be. Like it'd just be a setup file and off you go, and it does it all for you. But there are different ways of doing things, and this is the fun of Linux, is understanding and learning how all this stuff works. So there we go, and that's it. It's installing. Now here they show you to open it in the command line by using Google Chrome. You can do that. Just copy this and paste it in here by pasting it, and it will open. Okay, so again, if you want to make it your default browser, hit OK. See how cool that is? And there it is. Chrome is running. That's one way. Now I'll show you the other way of starting it up. Minimize this stuff out of the way. And that is go to Activities and just type in here, Chrome. And you see it. And there it is. You can just double click on that and open it. But what I'm going to do is add it to my favorites because I like it easily accessible on my taskbar over there. So that's it here. Here, hit Escape to get out of that. Escape again. And there's Chrome right there because we added it to the favorites. Isn't that cool? So now we open it up. There's Chrome fully installed. Do whatever you want. Let's do a speed test. How about that? Yeah, speed test. There we go. And you can run a speed test here in Chrome. Off we go. Plenty fast today. I'm just going to hit cancel here. And standard stuff. Go to YouTube. Right? There's YouTube. Do what you want. Here, look, I put my name in here. Oops. Helps if we spell it right. USA, see what happens. Search. And see what we get from that. And yeah, there's another Richard Lloyd in the world. He's a guitar player for an old band called Television, but I'm not him, though we look similar. There's YouTube. Go open up a video. Off you go. Works just great, right? Amazing. Beautiful operating system. So working like a charm. This is the installation program for Google. You don't need it anymore, so here just hit delete, and it deletes. It goes into the trash, and the trash is right here, and you can empty the trash if you wish. I'm going to empty it. I don't need it. It's taking up space. I'm not going to use it again. So that's that. That's installing it. Now, if you want to know how to remove it, just Google remove Chrome from Ubuntu, and it will show you how to do that as well. We're not going to do that. I'm going to show you how to install a standard package. That was a non-standard package, but everybody wants Chrome. Most people want Chrome, so I just want to show you how to do that. Okay, so here we're going to type in, let's install gparted, which is a partition program for Ubuntu, really powerful and nice. So again, sudo apt-get install, right? Basically, always this command to install software. And we're going to do gparted, which is the software we want. Now sudo, the credentials are still cached here, so it's going to continue to go. I'm going to say yes to this, and it will install this package. And after we're done, you can actually just go gparted here on the command line, or again, you can go back up here and just type in gparted here, And there it is right there. And you can, tag it to your favorites if you wish, or just double click it and open it from here. I'm going to do the other one as I showed you how to do that with Chrome. Here we go. Hit enter. Of course, it's going to, since it's a root level program which can format your hard drive, or any hard drive, most hard drives I would say, it requires authentication. Again, that is the same password as you use to log into your computer. There it is, authenticate. And you can see here, gparted running. And if I put another drive in here, let's put my 8 gig in there, see what happens. All right, got the 8 gig. And now we're going to go here to refresh devices. It will search the computer for new devices, see if it showed up. There it is. And you can do whatever you want with it. You can delete it, resize it, create new partitions, anything. It's really, really nice software. But again, showed you how to install gparted. Now you want to get rid of it. It's just sudo apt-get again, but instead of install, you use remove. And if you really, really want to get, totally remove, like very, very clean option, you can say purge, right? So I'm not going to do purge. I'm just going to do remove, but it's up to you. And you can Google those options. There we go. Remove gparted. And if you, here now we type in gparted, nothing will happen. It's not there. And if you want to make sure it's gone, just type in purge and hit that. And it says gparted is not installed, so not removed, right? The following package is automatically installed and no longer required. And so if you want to, there's the nice thing about purge, it tells you that you should auto remove that file. And you can, if you wish, just copy this, paste it, enter, and that's it. You say yes, and it's gone. So you completely remove the package using those commands. So that's how you do it in command line. Again, there are graphical utilities to do that. If you wish to do GUI, you can say, go to the software package and software right here, Ubuntu software, and use that as well. I'm pretty sure gparted is in there, but I'll verify that here in a second. So again, still updates there for those packages if you wish to do it. And let's see if gparted shows up. No application found. So see, not all the software is all in the same place. So again, why I prefer command line, because it finds everything. It runs there really nicely. So that's why I prefer and why I was showing you command line. The power in this operating system is truly at the command line. This GUI software is nice and it's easy, but it's not complete as the command line goes, as I just showed you here, because you can't even find the software that I just installed in the command line without doing anything special. So that's it for that. We've got Chrome installed. We've got gparted installed. I've showed you how to install software, how to remove software, how to install the operating system, how everything works, and it's working beautifully. And again, Google's your friend. If you have any questions, just Google those questions into it. Make sure you reference Ubuntu and the version you're running, which is 20.04. If you want to know all that, go over here to settings and scroll down to about, and you'll see what you're running all together, which is in our case LTS 20.04.1 LTS Ubuntu. So 64 bits, again, everything here. Software updates, if you click on here, another place to go looking, right? And here go to updates if you wish, and all this other stuff. So, and live patch, you may want to create a sign in for this and do a live patch as well. But again, up to you. I don't want to go much longer on this. I just don't want to keep eating up time. But I figured that if you install this operating system and you want to run it seriously, you may want to know how to handle it. And that's a basic outline of how to handle Ubuntu Linux on your bare metal install, which is what we have right now. I guess the other thing here is your file browser. Good thing to know about. And everything in here. And you can see the mounted drives. I've got 2, and you know, again, you can unmount those as well by just clicking unmount, unmount, and off you go, right? So again, beautiful, running great, and this is the same drive, by the way. This is my apt-get drive, 2 partitions on that. So I'll just hit unmount, and notice that they both go away. So SanDisk Cruiser Edge now can be removed, and there it is. And that's it. Other than that, shutting it down is coming over here. You can either suspend it, log out, or power off. If you click power off, you get 3 options: cancel, restart, and power off. So I'm going to hit cancel here. All right. Hopefully that was fun for you, and hopefully you have fun with this operating system and playing with it. Again, it's totally free. I want to thank Jim for asking the original question on how to run Windows PE in a persistent environment, which is really not possible. And you know, this is part of the answer for that. If you want to run a persistent operating system, 64 bits, very robust, upgradable, security patches, very secure, and totally, you know, usable. I use this exact operating system probably 98% of the time. The only time I use Windows really is when I need my Sony Vegas editing software, which I'm really used to, and I may start playing with the DaVinci software to see if it's, you know, compatible and whether I can use that instead of the Sony, since it's free. But for my life right now, having a dual boot Windows and Ubuntu hard drive installed on my or configuration installed on my PC works better for me. In the future, I may do another video on installing the beta version of this on bare metal and upgrading this bare metal. I'll probably do upgrading this one to a beta version next, and future Ubuntu videos on that, as well as maybe I may actually just do a dual boot installation of this as well, which, you know, I'll have to weigh up because it's kind of risky with my data, but you know, I may just do it with clean drives and go from there. Okay, that's it for my video. If you liked my video and this helped you out in some way, do me a huge favor and give me a thumbs up in the bottom corner. Like this video, share it with people who may want to you know, do this as well. Also, in the bottom corner and at the end of the video, you'll see a picture of me. There's a link to subscribe at the bottom corner. It's not a picture of me, but that's a subscription link. If you click on that link, you'll get a bell icon, and then you click on the bell icon, and when you do that, you'll be subscribed to my channel, and you will get notifications every time I put up a new video, and you can watch it at your own leisure and time. Also, at the end of the video, you'll see a picture of me. That's also a subscription link, and the same thing applies there. Just click on the bell icon to be notified every time I put up a new video. Once again, and like always, thank you for watching and supporting my channel. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay happy.